Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Good morning. Welcome to Run It Back. Lou Will, Michelle Beadle, that's a weird name, and Chandler, who is fresh off of a red-eye. Sir,
man,
what are you doing yourself?
the Sunshine State's not so sunny today. This weather, Lou, brutal.
Cold in Florida?
Oh my God, it's
Don't
40
do this.
degrees.
Oh, he did it.
I thought Florida was skipping the winter this year.
No,
Wow.
it is 40 degrees, and we are dancing in a golf tournament, walking the next 4 days, Bees, with these beat up knees.
I'd like to apologize for everyone in the negative 20 and below crowd that is currently suffering through the country while Chandler
They're not
whines.
playing golf now, are they, Beetle?
Okay, I mean, it gets worse. Every time he talks, it gets worse. All right, guys, we got some news, and we will get to some hoops as well, but this is interesting. NBA insider Henry Abbott of True Hoop reporting that Giannis was close to firing his longtime agent over his failure to get Giannis traded from the Bucks. He also said that Rich Paul, podcaster and agent, has been talking to Thanasis and wants to represent Giannis. Rich is said to have been making the case that he is the guy who gets star players to where they want to go. Juicy, Chandler. Okay, well, first of all, let's start with Rich Paul getting dudes where they want to go. Yeah, we're buying that, yes?
Yeah, and listen, I think Rich Paul has deserved and worked his way up to have this kind of clout. And when you look at the big agents in the NBA, I mean, it's Jeff Schwartz, it's Duffy, it's Mark Bartelstein, but there's no bigger name than Rich. And so, yeah, it makes sense. This guy has a lot of huge names. And just think about a couple weeks ago, there was the reports on the Trae Young trades, and obviously Washington ended up being where he wanted to go. Now, that's ended up where he was, and that's probably the team that wanted him the most. So that's what we found out in the public, but that's where he ended up. And that's where apparently he wanted to go. So Rich Paul does have that sort of clout. Look about what the most recent article that just came out in LA with the whole Genie Bus situation where, they were almost, scared or didn't intimidated by his type of juice and clout that he had in that locker room with LeBron and the drafting Bronny and that whole thing. So he definitely, it makes sense. Like he'd be the guy for the job. And if I was a current player in the NBA right now, and it's all leverage, right? All these agents have so many players, but they leverage their other guys and their contracts and their team. And he's got a lot of top dogs. And so it makes sense to me. The story, though, is Giannis even interested in hiring him or making the switch when he hasn't demanded the trade and he hasn't publicly said he wants out? Why do you need a powerhouse agent to get that done if that's the case? So I think things are going to start happening here day by day. And listen, Rich Paul, again, he started off as LeBron's best friend, high school boy, and he's become one of the more powerful agents in all of sports, not just the NBA. So it makes sense.
Hulu.
It's
It's going to get good. It's going to get good.
So yeah, it's just a report. So I won't overreact, but it's mixed messaging again, right? Like Giannis is saying that he had never asked for a trade, but as it seems behind closed doors, he's trying to get traded. He's actively trying to get traded. So if this report is true that he's unhappy with his representation and he wants to work with Rich Paul, well, first of all, Rich Paul is a guy, the key word that Chandler just used was leverage. Rich Paul has a lot of clients that he can leverage, that he's been able to get a lot of big deals done for a lot of his big name clients. I don't think that would change if Giannis was to join his roster, but also it has to be clear messaging. We look at Trae Young. The moment that it came out that he and the Atlanta Hawks were working together for another scenario, we had something done in less than a week from that coming out. So with Giannis constantly saying, I don't want to be traded, I'll never want to be moved, or I'll never ask of these things. But at the same time, you can see him on the court unhappy, booing back to the fans and all of these things. Give us a clear message. As fans, as media, as everybody on the outside looking in, give us a clear message, because if I'm your representation on the inside, I got to admit that I'm a little confused about the messaging as well. And as it pertains to Rich Paul, Giannis has to hire him like today if he wants to do that, because it's going to take 7 days for that to kick in, and the deadline is on January 6th. So if that's something you want to do, is it takes 7 days to change over, and then you have the deadline working against you. So that gives Rich Paul 48 to 72 hours to even make this happen, if any of this report is deemed to be true or has some legs. And so at this point, I don't know what to make of it. I just wish that we can get it over with and it can happen. But, if he wants to change representation, he's officially up against the clock. So we'll see what happens.
You know why I like it too? Because this whole timeline, Giannis has been persistent on not asking for a trade, right? And now he has this opportunity to hire this new powerful agent that can just take all the heat, take all the bullets. He can come in there and face the music and be like, you know what? I'm the one that got him out of there, and make Giannis kind of look as good as he possibly can. So it's not the worst idea or situation for Giannis to go and get LeBron James agent, Anthony Davis agent, Tyrese Maxey's all these big names that we all know. Why not let him come and take the bullets and be the good guy in this situation?
Yeah, Michelle Beadle here, representative for the fans. I would like to say that this is actually going to be a lot worse. Because I would prefer. Look, Spurs went through a weird Kawhi thing that was very drawn out, dramatic, and it resulted in like a lot of hatred towards that fan base and Kawhi. This is worse to me because it's shady and it's sneaky and it's sort of semantics of I'm not asking for a trade. Well, your agent, no matter who he is an extension of you. They don't do things on their own. They're not going to move you on their own. So I actually feel like Giannis, in trying to avoid being the bad guy, is making this much worse for himself optically.
Well, you know what, Chandler, we also know how the game works. Like, some of these stories are planted by whoever side that's trying to benefit from making the other side look bad. We also know this is part of the game too, but I agree with Beadle 1,000%. If you're trying not to be the bad guy, the more and more information comes out, the more and more these reports start to grow legs, it's going to make Giannis looks worse from the Milwaukee fan base. So if I was him, I would have been honest. I would have probably did a sit down or something of that nature, and I would have said everything that I'm feeling. Look, this is somewhere that I love to be. I want to see this thing through. But if it's not and it's run its course, yes, I would like to go somewhere else, and it can end that way, and everybody can be at peace. But again, like Beadle just said, the more sneaky that it feels, the more information that continues to get leaked, and Giannis won't step out and speak to this with clear messaging and what he wants to get across, instead of some of the subliminal things going back and forth and kind of being a little funny a little bit with it. That's going to turn the fan base off, especially with him not being on the floor at this point. Let this team go on a slide in the course of everything that's going on. They're going to look at Giannis for answers, and they're going to look at him to be blamed as well. So all of this stuff is starting to get more and more messy as the days go by, with him trying not to make it that way, but it is what it is at this point.
And here's the thing. There's been so much coverage and so much media on this whole situation that no matter what happens now, whether he sticks with his agent and gets traded right now at the deadline, or if he hires Rich Paul and doesn't get traded, or whatever's going to happen, if there's going to be fans that are going to hate on him, there's going to be fans that are going to burn his jersey. There's going to be fans that are so dramatic. And that's just part of the business, because first of all, they're struggling. They're losing. They're in no way, shape, or form to be in contention to compete for a championship this season. And Giannis is a huge part of that. So this is already, just for months now, this has become such a story that no matter what happens, he's not going to be able to please everybody. And a player of Giannis's stature, he deserves the right to have a team built around him to compete. He deserves to be on a championship team. We're not given more just guaranteed years in this league to play. And Giannis probably has, less than 5-6 years left? He should want to maximize that, and he earned that right to be able to be in this position. And if he wants to get moved, he's getting moved, whether his agent is his current agent or Rich Paul. He's Giannis. And if he says finally and comes out, and I know he's been, with the fans, he's done everything for the organization. He's never publicly addressed a trade. It's getting to the point where you don't almost have to, because we all know you want to leave. You know what I mean?
Come on the show. We got a spot for you, Giannis. Anytime, any hour, any day.
Let's get our boy Bobby on the phone. Tell him to work it out for us.
Just because you didn't go straight Kuminga style or Dame Lillard and agree to, I also feel like that's coming. I feel like a couple more losses, couple more team meetings, frustrations boiling over. I think the front office is going to realize quick, this isn't forever. This is going to end soon. We're just delaying the inevitable. We got to possibly make a move here as quick as this trade deadline, because I think a lot of guys thought with the stature of him, it was an off-season, the kind of summertime move. It's getting to the point where their season's gone so south that I think it might happen this deadline.
He's going to be a Knick, and we said it 2 years ago. Oh man, we got to find that footage. We got it on tape somewhere, guys. Never say never, kids. That's what I say. Never say never. Never say forever. You're going to get yourself in a corner. We got basketball, by the way. We got Luka basketball is what we got. Lakers at Bulls, still on the road. Okay. 46 points for Mr. Doncic, 15 of 25, 8 of 14 from 3, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. It's his 8th 40-point game this season. 20 of LeBron's 24 points came in the first half.
That's fun in Chicago.
Yeah, right. It's a great city. Okay, Luka has a performance like that. It's funny with this conversation with the Lakers. Yesterday, we're like, it's like a Jekyll and Hyde. We can't figure out who they are, what they are. Are they good? And then Luka does this, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Could they go to the conference finals? Like, what did this do for you in your view of the Lakers?
No, I still feel the same about the Lakers. I think right now they're a middle of the pack team until they clean up on a defensive end. Last night was nothing different from me. I've seen Luka Doncic do this a number of times. This is his 8th time doing this season. So when you see a performance like that, I think classic Luka. I think this is who he is. This is what he's capable of doing. This is also somebody that I've watched, average a triple-double for an extended amount of time. So when he has these big scoring outbursts and he's able to get everybody involved with 11 assists to go with a 46 piece, I think nothing different. Unless there's something that they can do on a defensive end that changes the outlook of how this season is going. Other than that, I think this was another night at the office for Luka. Great night, flashy night. It looked like those guys were having fun. It looked like it was a vibe in Chicago last night. LeBron James was on the rim. Jackson Hayes was on the rim. Luka threw a pass behind his back from one side of the floor to the other to get a great 3-point look. Like, it looked like they was just having a lot of fun. But all of those things are on the offensive end. I got to start seeing them create an identity and see who they are on a defensive end to even start talking about the conference finals right now, especially with the way that OKC is moving, the way that Houston is still moving, and the way that the San Antonio Spurs are still moving. I still can't see them getting through those teams that have clear defensive identities right now, and the Lakers don't have that at all. They do have one of the best scorers in the world, but as we can tell right now with their record and where they stand in the West, it's going to take them to guard somebody for this to be something different for another outlook besides what he did last night.
Yeah, it's the same story, different day, right? Like, we're going to be mesmerized and blown away by half the stuff that we see them do on the court. Like last night, that was Lakers, Showtime, Luka, Dimes, Jackson Hayes. I mean, I haven't seen a guy go between the legs in a game in a really long time, but some of these highlights, this is awesome. And this is the type of player that you want in LA and that market with the purple and gold on. Like, that is not a normal transition pass to throw it cross court behind the back. They look like they have fun when they're rolling like that on offense. There's a stat here: they're 13-3 when Luka has 10+ assists. To me, that shows me that they're a better team when they're balanced, and you're getting 15 from Rui, you're getting 12 from Vando, you're getting 10 from Marcus Smart, and it's a more balanced attack because it makes them that much more difficult to guard. Like, offensively, we know what he's going to do, and it is so fun to watch. And I do think, if the Western Conference, obviously this year is going to be tough with those teams, but he's led a worse team to the finals before in Dallas, and if they do get the proper pieces around him by the deadline or his time in LA, he's going to always have the Lakers kind of right there in that 1 through 4 or 5 seed, and they're always going to be relevant when you have a Luka on your team, just because you can't stop them. And the defensive part, he's never going to be a first-team all-defense. Like, it's effort, and it's willing to care, and it's being a good team defender. It's being help side. It's stepping up and taking charges. And the other night, I will say, I forgot who they played, but they were going at him 5, 6, 7 times in a row, and he held his ground. And he cut off baseline. He was making extra efforts. Like, that's all they want to see. They want to see him do it on both sides of the ball. Just try. And then go get 46 and go 15 for 25, because they can't stop you on the other end. So if you stop them, you got a real good chance of winning because you are going to score a lot of points with that dude on your team.
Dude, 37.3. I'm adding the point this time because it's important. Points a game in the last 4 on the road. That's insane to me. It's a lot of points. I know. I mentioned the fact that LeBron had 24 points last night. 20 of those came in the first half. So 4 in the second, Chandler. Like, take me through that as a player. How's that work?
Honestly, I think this is what the game is going to call for him at this point of his career. It's he did what he had to do. He got him off to a great start. Luka started going bonkers in the second half, but he's still doing all the little things. And we knew he was going to be a man wearing multiple different hats this year for this team. Sometimes he's going to play that point forward offense and just initiate. Sometimes he's going to be aggressive and get downhill, get out in transition, and do things like this. You can play through him in the post. You can play him at point forward. You can play through him on the elbow. He can be so effective in so many different spots that I don't even look at this like a negative that he had 4 points, because it's almost like, okay, I'm going to be aggressive early. Now, Luka, it's your turn. Now, Austin Reeves, I'm going to go out for 8 minutes. Now you go. And they're going to have that. Oh, no, was that my service? They're going to have that luxury with those 3 guys offensively, where any given night, it could be someone different night. Rui the other night stepped up, hit some huge shots in the fourth quarter. He's not their closer, but the way they were guarding him, the way that Luka was getting double teamed and shadowed, they found themselves wide open. Jake LaRavia is going to find himself wide open. They're all going to have opportunities throughout the season to make impact plays. And LeBron was dominant in the first half. He didn't have to be in the second half because guys took over, and that's just the way the game went for them last night. So I respect LeBron. I don't want to say fitting in, but like, he's done a really good job fitting in and letting Austin Reeves have a career at the beginning of the season. He's had let Luka Doncic go lead the NBA in scoring and go nuts. He's let DeAndre Ayton kind of have big nights. So, like, again, I think there's going to be some nights we see him have 30, 40, 50 points still because he's still that good, but he doesn't have to do that.
And I like the fact that he was inside of the 3-point line for most of these buckets. So all the young players out there that's living and dying by the 3, the mid-range is still alive. Attacking the basket is still alive. He was able to use that ability, get into the rim, and opened up the mid-range. And then what does that do for the rest of the team? It opens up the 3-point line because you got to respect a 6'8", 6'9" LeBron James putting pressure on the rim. Now you got to close in, and now they're just driving and they're kicking it. They're attacking and they're kicking it, and it opened up the 3-point line for everybody else. And the Lakers was able to be successful in that style of play. So all of these teams out here just living and dying by the 3, the mid-range is still alive, and it can win you basketball games still. Yeah. So I love to see that.
And think about this. When Luka plays at the top of the key and they set that pick and roll, if they want to blitz Luka, that means he just got to get off the ball, and LeBron's playing 4-on-3 on the other end. Like, good luck. Like, that is that's not how I would guard them, because LeBron's still effective and he's still good, and they can hurt you in so many other ways. So they're gonna have a tough time with teams stopping them, which they're gonna need that too, because we know their defensive struggles.
Chandler, you had some thoughts on Jackson Hayes last night?
Dear mother of God, who does this? who does this in a game?
Charlie Jackson.
And I know it was the fourth quarter and it was a little later and the game was a little bit out of reach, but this is an insane thing to do. And look at Luka. That's like a thank God he made it type of reaction. But
because can you imagine?
There's still 3 minutes left, by the way, in the game. This game is by no means.
I love it. We need some excitement. We need some excitement.
Awesome.
In a season that can get mundane and worn down from time to time, we need a little excitement, somebody to wake us up. So shout out to Jackson Hayes for going forward and attempting this and actually making it. This was a good night for the Lakers. If I'm them, I'm taking this night, I'm balling it up, and I'm saying, listen, for the rest of this road trip, let's have some fun and let's play up-tempo. Let's play together. And let's keep these smiles on our faces and just play a brand of basketball that we can be happy with, where we can have some fun. So I like this. I love it.
Yeah, there must have been good vibes last night in the locker room after that one. I know if he would have missed that. By the way, Chicago Bulls fans, I know you got a loss, but you got your money's worth out of seeing the Lakers come to town.
Back-to-back great games.
Lord.
Back-to-back great games in Chicago.
For real. That's okay. That's fun. All right, 4-game winning streak. That's part of the problem, though, however. that was snapped last night. Ninth in the standings, Lou. And yes, I don't need to remind you, but maybe others, that Chicago did start out this season red hot, but right now looking at a play-in situation. So I almost feel like this is deja vu. What do the Bulls do? Do you make moves or do you sit in purgatory? Literally, we did this last year.
Well, they've made moves, but even the moves that they've made haven't worked, haven't got them out of the situation that they're in. We're looking at a team that's possibly going on their 4th year in a row using the play-in as an opportunity to get to the playoffs, and that's just not good enough. They're a mediocre basketball team at this point. And again, if you're constantly in the same position over and over, something has to give. So at this point, if you're the Chicago Bulls, you got to look to trade everybody, and you got a clean roster, you got a clean house from top to bottom, and you got to start fresh. This group isn't going to get it done. Even the guys that we've traded away or been able to keep hadn't been able to get it done. It's not the right mix, especially in the Eastern Conference, where we feel like a lot of the competition is wide open. Like, if you put the right group together, you can put yourself in a legitimate playoff position with the right moves. And the Chicago Bulls just haven't been able to do that. So in the Eastern, in a conference that anybody can win, or anybody feels like they have the confidence that they can beat anybody on any given night and compete for a conference title and getting out of the East, the Chicago Bulls hadn't been able to put themselves in that position. So I say definitely blow this thing up, start fresh. Go get you some assets. Go get you some young guys that you can build, that you can mold to the liking of your organization, and start from there. Because right now, this just ain't it. We're looking at 4 straight seasons in a play-in.
Yeah, and they're not elite really at anything. Their offense, Billy D is always going to have a really good offense. They're always going to play fast. They're going to play a lot of pick and roll, a lot of threes, and they found something with Josh Giddey, and I think the hot start for this team was a little bit of fool's gold, just starting off so hot, being a top 3 team in the East. But they found something in Josh Giddey. The kid Bucelis has a chance to be an actual stud. And then outside of that, they just got a bunch of guys you know what you're going to get from. Vucevic, great pro, great player. Kevin Huerter, Kobe White, like those type of guys. You know what you're going to get, but they're also assets. So I think you can find a way to kind of get off some of these guys, which clearly is not working, get something back in return, and just kind of freshen up. Because I feel like there's a couple, they're just pieces away. They don't do anything elite. They're not a very good defensive team, but they can go and score with the best of them. They're top 10 in every offensive statistical category. So they're playing the right way. They're playing to score the basketball. I just think they're 1 or 2 pieces away, but they have a lot of assets.
Don't translate though, Chandler. It just don't translate.
I think they have a lot of assets like teams want. Like, I think teams want Vooch. I think teams
Kobe
want
White.
Kobe White. I think teams want. Yeah. I think teams
White.
shooting with Kevin Huerter. Like Orlando Magic need Kevin Huerter. Like, they need shooting. Like there's certain teams that need players that they have. So I'd be looking to be extremely active at the deadline if I was Chicago, because they're kind of just right in no man's land right now.
I know. That's just not a place that you want to be. Great segue for what we're doing on the other side. We're talking the Magic. We're talking the Cavs. Eastern Conference battle last night. That's next.
Run it back, run it up, run it back.
Well, this was fun. Magic up in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell, 45 points, 5 of 8 for 3, 4 assists. Yeah, he had a night. 114-98 win for Cleveland. Evan Mobley finished with 20. Paolo had his 37 and 10. You didn't have a Garland. You didn't have Hunter. You didn't, of course, no Franz, but 6 of their last 7 to move into the 5 seed. And they're only a game and a half back of the 2, Chandler. I don't want to get excited. Do I get excited? What do I do?
Rolling.
I'll tell you this, the minute we started talking about the Magic, though, it got even gloomier outside here in
Ooh,
Orlando.
is that a sign?
It's no bueno for them. We'll get to them. But the Cavs.
Chandler, the whole East Coast is literally in a blizzard, and you're complaining about.
I mean, Texas is iced out. Like, what are you doing?
You gotta chill. You got it good.
Thank you.
You got it good. I promise you got it good.
Let's talk about the Cavs.
Let's do that.
Lou, this is the version of the Cavs that I thought were going to come out the gates swinging after the historic start last year. And they're like one of the main teams that brought back every single player they lost Ty Jerome. Besides that, they basically have the same squad. Yes, Garland's been banged up. Yes, Evan Mobley really hasn't taken that jump yet that we thought he was going to after the year he had last year. But they still have that same starting 5. They're still deep. They still have an elite scorer. And Donovan Mitchell last night, who showed us maybe I should have been an all-star starter in the all-star game. And this is the version that we thought that they would be. Elite offensive team. They're capable of defending. They can beat you in so many different ways. They have size. They have shooting. So this was my preseason pick. And out of the East, just to come out just because of the regular season. I know their woes in the playoffs last year were tough, but this team is very, very good. And I think they're peaking right now at the right moment. And I think if they just got to the 5th seed, you said now, I think they're going to even keep climbing up those rankings. There's a lot of basketball left. And like I said, you got Donovan Mitchell, you got Evan Mobley, Garland, size, length, shooting, depth. Like, they check all the boxes as a basketball team. So I think they're going to continue to rise, and I think they'll end up with home court advantage in the East.
Those were those uniforms. Did we decide we liked them? They're like the orange sorbet kind of vibes.
Hard to watch a little bit.
I can't remember if I liked them or not. I'll get back to you on that. By the way, Lou, talking about all of that and sort of alluding back to last year, Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com, God, I love that, said that they're not actually really thinking about any kind of crazy shakeup at the deadline. So
yeah,
we're good with that.
Nothing's wrong with that. If anything, I'm gonna look at my bench a little bit. You know, I'm gonna look to add some depth. Obviously, DeAndre Hunter was out with some knee soreness, but you know, you got to get something out of the bench. You brought Lonzo Ball in free agency over the summer. You got to get him going. You know, you got to get something consistent with him. You got to get DeAndre Hunter going as well. You got the guys that's there, but they're not playing as consistently as you would like, especially if you're going to try to make a run to try to get out of the East. You got to have your bench players. They are top heavy. Donovan Mitchell, the way that he's playing, Evan Mobley being the second option to him right now, and them kind of being a 1-2 punch as Garland is out and some of these other guys are out of the lineup. You like what you're seeing from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I like the messaging early in the season. Remember they said last year we didn't go through a lot of adversity. You know, we had a lot of things kind of go our way. This year they're getting every team's best effort that you can see, and they're withstanding, and they're going out there and they're winning really good quality basketball games. So you like that. But if you're going to be a team that's going to make a deep run, you gotta go at least 8 deep. You got to have 8 guys that can go out there and give you really good production. And right now the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're close to that, but they just got to have it consistently. Like Evan Mobley, he got to be who he is, like a 20-8 guy that he was last night. He got to be that on a consistent basis, not just 17. He got to kick that up to a 20. When DeAndre Hunter is back in the lineup, he has to be that scoring guard and that two-way player that they need off the bench to be able to help Donovan Mitchell and be able to help the Cleveland Cavaliers when he goes out of the game. So I like where they stand right now. I wouldn't make any big moves, but if I'm looking, I'm trying to add a little scoring, a little toughness to kind of push me over the edge right now.
By the way, when we talk about the Cavs too and talk about the depth, there's a dude on their team that was their draft pick last year named Jalen Tyson. He's averaging 14, 6, and 2, 52 from the field, and 47% from the 3. This kid, we haven't said his name all season long, but this dude should be in the most improved conversations from where he was last year to this year. He's starting some games for them. I think he started like 28, 29 games for them. He's a big guard. He defends. So when you talk about the depth that they might need and they have in the playoffs, this kid's going to play a lot of critical minutes for them because they have Strus and Merrill that can shoot. This kid's a little bit of the opposite. He does a little bit of everything. He's tough. He's slashy. He's athletic. So I just want to shine a little light on Jalen Tyson because he has been absolutely balling.
Well done. Little light has been shown. Well done, Chandler. Let's do a little Orlando
on a
Magic
gloomy
talk.
Day here in Orlando.
Nope, doesn't look gloomy. It actually looks. I'll tell you what. It's reading sunny on television, just so you know. That looks very glorious, actually. Magic were considered a top 3 team in the East. I think we can. That's fair to say. We all kind of look that way. And in fairness, the Bane, Paolo, Suggs, Franz Wagner grouping hasn't really played much together. I think it's only like 11 games. So that being said, Chandler, is there something to really start to worry about here, or is this just a case of when they just all get healthy?
I think Franz has played 26 games. Paolo's played 35 games. Bane's played 45 games. So Jalen Suggs has played 25 games. So it is a little bit of an excuse for them that they have not been fully healthy. And when you have that young core and they've only played 11 games together, that is tough. I do think this is a team that we're going to see that continues to get better. Jamal Mosley is kind of a JB Biggerstaff type coach where he's created this culture, this tough-nosed defensive team where even if the ball is not going in the basket, this team still has a chance to win. So I don't think we overrated them. I don't think we looked at the Orlando Magic like a contender this year. I think we look at a team with a lot of talent where if they don't make some noise, they could underperform and not reach certain expectations. But think about this core. We all know how good Paolo and Wagner are. Jalen Suggs is a very, very good two-way player. Anthony Black, I think, to me, is one of the most underrated players he's got real superstar potential. That kid is going to be an absolute stud. And then Desmond Bane kind of got off to a slow start, and he's been arguably their best player all season long and possibly like an all-star snub. So they have the team, they have the infrastructure and the talent. I think they could always use more shooting. I mentioned a guy like Kevin Huerter. I mentioned because they're dead last in three-pointing. I think they're 29th in field goals or three-point field goals and 25th in percent or something. So they add Desmond Bane. That didn't cure all their issues. I think when you have a guy like Paolo, it's a lot of heavy ISO. They clog the paint. Franz, going under pick and rolls on him. You have to space the floor with more shooting if you're Orlando. But they're on to something, and I'm not ready to give up on them yet.
Are you good with all that? Just a sort of a case of timing's not being perfect yet?
Yeah, I am. I mean, listen, they can have their shooting woes or whatever, and that might not be the identity of your team. But change it. Like if you're not a really good shooting basketball team, why are y'all still taking 43 pointers in a game? Like change your approach, especially when you have big physical guards like a Desmond Bane, like a Paolo. You have physical guards that can put pressure on you inside of the three-point line that can change the identity of the team. So if that is something that you need to shore up, if that's something that you need to change, why are you still going 11 for 39 from the three-point line? Change your approach and change the way that you play. That's something that I would do.
So here's what Tom Haberstroh would do of Yahoo. He said that the Magic should trade Paolo Banchero and start bringing in some shooters.
Yeah,
now, obviously, we're coming off a hot night, but okay.
Get in there, Chandler.
It's trade time talk. Let's go.
Personal.
I just don't like this. I don't like when you go at the best player because they went on a little winning streak when he was out, and the record says that analytically they might be better than him. Like, trade Paolo. It's just it doesn't even make sense to me. Like, he is their future. He is their franchise piece. As good as Franz Wagner is, I love that dude. As good as I think Anthony Black is going to be, Jalen Suggs. Paolo, he is their best player, and he has kind of exceeded all expectations. And yes, he's struggled this year. I feel like he's settling a lot this year, and he looks visibly frustrated. He's got to get a more consistent outside shot, but Paolo Banchero is a stud, and he is going to figure it out. And I do think there's a little onus on Jamal Mosley to kind of figure out, put him in more spots, off the block, ducking in, taking advantage of his size, play him a little bit like Carmelo Anthony used to play, force guys to double team him and let him play out of that because he's big enough and tall enough to play through him. He can play the point forward, but I don't think he's been in the best positions offensively. But no, I'm not just trading this all-star rookie of the year, number one pick.
So finally you're hearing me. Now you're hearing me.
Big statement.
Put him closer to the basket. It's too many possessions that he's bringing the ball up the court and he's trying to create on his own off the dribble. He's too big for that. Put him 15 feet away from the rim, like Chandler just said. Duck him in. Put him in positions to get switches on smaller guards where he can get to the free throw line, where he can get easy looks, and that opens up everything else. But instead, we have him trying to create from the three-point line on in, and as it stands, a lot of teams just load up on him on the defensive end, and he ends up chunking up a three-pointer. So last night he had a great night. He had a great stat line, but a lot of that is coming from him trying to create off the dribble. We got to figure out a way to get him easier touches and easier looks for him to be successful if he's going to be the best player on the team. So some of it is his responsibility. The other half is going to be Coach Mo's. Coach got to put him in a better position to be more aggressive and to be more successful and especially efficient on the offensive end.
Yeah,
by the way, the rest of the league is like, yes, trade Banchero, please. By any stretch, we'd love to have him.
He's 6'10", 270. There's no way like Denny Advia and Austin Reeves should be taking more free throws a game than this guy. Like, he should be pummeling dudes on mismatches. They should be forcing switches. Have him handle to get the switch in the pick and roll. Have him set it. Have him slip. Get him in little screen-to-screen actions where you can get him right off the block. Like, there's got to be more that they can do offensively because this kid is a freak of nature. Like I said, he's 270 pounds. Like, he should be absolutely abusing dudes on the block, and he's not yet.
He's one of those dudes that if you go see him play real life, you're like, oh, I did not realize. Sometimes it doesn't translate quite as well on television. All right, we got the head scratchingest team in the league coming up, the AAU squad that is just crushing people right now. What is even happening? They beat the Sixers, and granted, the Sixers didn't have no Embiid, no Paul George. I don't care. Okay, they still won by a lot, 130 to 93. Brandon Miller had 30 points, 8 players for Charlotte in double figures. They're 9-1 with the starting lineup of Ball, Knipple, Miller, Bridges, and Diabate. I don't know, Lou. Like the beginning of the season, we're like, what do we do? Do we start?
LaMelo Ball is a starter.
It's yes. Oh yeah. No, he's been back.
He's back in the lineup.
They heard you guys crying about it, and they were like, all right, put him back out there. This team is. What are we doing? What is the Charlotte Hornets team?
I think I'm going to stay consistent in how I feel. I think they have a lot of good individual talent that some nights, like last night, it works. But most consistently, more nights than not, it doesn't work. I think they got a lot of really good players. I like Brandon Miller. Love LaMelo Ball. I love what Knipple is doing. They have a lot of different guys that can win you a basketball game on a different night. They just haven't been able to do it collectively together. Now, they are 9-1 when all 5 of those guys are in the starting lineup, but that's 10 games, and that's still gotten them in a 12th spot in the Eastern Conference right now. So I'm not going to be the guy that's going to rain on their parade. I think this is a great quality win. Listen, when a team has guys out of the lineup, you go out and you get that game and you win that basketball game and you keep moving on the schedule. That's what the Charlotte Hornets did, what they were supposed to do last night. Now, how do you carry that in to night out and put yourself in a competitive position? I don't know. It's just a lot of different moving parts there, a lot of head-scratching things that's going on, and they just haven't been as consistent as I would like. So, 3 straight wins is great for them, but it still hasn't moved the needle in where they are in the standings. So for me, I love the fact that they have a lot of great individual talent. I don't think this works collectively if they can't continue to do this from a consistency standpoint. So that's where I stand. I like those guys as individuals. I don't think this group works together for the long run.
Yeah. That was
Fair.
beautifully. That was beautifully said, Lou. I think that was absolutely perfect. It's the same. They have
Well,
so
thank
much.
you, sir. I appreciate it.
Think about it.
Gotta go.
They have so much. They have so much
So with the
talent. When they go, they go. They look so good, but they're
Fun.
inconsistent. They don't really have any vet leadership in that locker room. So it does remind, like we talked to Cockburner on the interview, like it is an AAU team because they run and gun. They're flashy. They are prime time. Also, their announcer is incredible. That guy needs a raise because he gets me going. Just it'll be a swing through in the corner, and this guy blows a gasket. Like he is
love that.
unbelievable. But think about the talent they have, and it's just not producing into consistent wins. That comes with age and experience and getting some vet guys mixed into that
Discipline.
rotation. And they don't have. These are just a bunch of kids hooping.
They're young.
And they probably break off plays. They probably break down on defense. Like their coach probably have so many gray hairs teaching this young team. But there is light at the end of the tunnel because they are uber talented. And if LaMelo Ball comes off the bench one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do. But
And you need to relax about it.
Yeah.
But he also
we
might
can't
not.
get to it. We just can't get too excited about it. Like 3 straight
Just
wins
let
and
him
there's
live.
still 3.5 games from the 10 spot.
Also,
It's like,
Can I say this, though?
I just can't get excited about it.
The
they're
most fun
9-1
fact.
with that starting lineup. They're 9-1 with that
Yes.
starting lineup. I'd probably keep that starting lineup, Charlotte.
I
Like,
know,
let's
but
call it that.
Lou has a point. Like, how is that long term going to be anything? The only thing I care about is that twice now this month they have led games by 50 points or more. I find that to be just a fascinating
I'm
You know
saying,
what
they're
they're
all-
nugget of information.
I'm not going to subscribe to the AAU conversation, but that's what AAU teams do.
It's fun. It's like,
That's
oh,
what
it's crazy.
AAU teams do.
We got to take a
Crazy.
quick break. We do have a lot of running back though left on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Ooh, team.
Run it back, run it up, run it back.
A little who says no, 9 days away from deadline. So let's look at some scenarios. The hottest names. And we're obviously going to start with one, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, the hottest girl in the game.
So hot right now. Shout out to the guys on the set setting this whole thing up. All right, Giannis to Golden State. Sham says that conversation, it's intensified. We just talked about, we started the show with it. So Bucks send Giannis and, of course, the Nexus over to Golden State. And then they get Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Pajemski, and 2 first-round picks. Ooh, who says no, Chandler?
I think the Warriors say no. I think that's a lot. I mean, they're giving up Draymond, Buddy, Kuminga, Paz, and 2 picks that could turn out to be extremely valuable with how their season goes and how their future goes. Listen, I'm all for swinging for the fence if you can get a Giannis, and I think right now is the time. There's blood in the water where these teams can attack and throw possible deals like this. I really like this one. I don't see them giving up that much, which is crazy to say.
Really?
So we're talking about Giannis here. But it kind of makes sense. And
I kind of like it, Lou. Like, are you? He says no, but you?
That's a lot. If I'm Golden State, I'm saying no. That's a ton. I got to figure out a way to keep Draymond. I think he would be the glue piece to kind of bridge the gap between the Giannis and the Steph Curry and make sure that offense is ran right. You know, you have Jimmy Butler out of the lineup, so you can't really put that in the fold. It's just a lot. You know, you're talking about 4 guys that's played pretty good basketball for you in the Golden State uniform and 2 first-round picks, and you're getting Giannis back. Obviously, we know what Giannis brings to the table. Thanasis hadn't been able to get his feet wet and being a quality player that can move this trade one way or another. So right now, if I'm Golden State, I'm probably saying no to this. That's a lot to give up.
Okay. All right, let's move on. How about this? Ja Morant to Milwaukee. Now, this is assuming that we get Giannis to stay there. They do need to figure out something then and put somebody around him. So here's what you get. Ja goes to Milwaukee. Oh, no. Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, and a protected first-round pick go down to Memphis. Lou, who says no? I mean, we say no for Portis, but go on.
We say no for our guy Bobby, but other than that, we say no for our guy. But other than that, I'm not really mad at this trade. As we saw what Trae Young and the Washington Wizards were able to do with their deal, this looks very similar. This looks like some really good basketball players and a protected lottery pick going to Memphis for exchange for Ja Morant, who, if you can keep Giannis in uniform and pair him with a Ja Morant, this looks good on paper. I say nobody says no on this one.
Okay. No one says no.
It kind of makes sense. It doesn't make sense for both, right? Like Ja Morant, why would the Bucks want Ja Morant when they have this Ryan Rollins kid who's kind of up and coming and basketball-wise doesn't really fit with Giannis?
Move into the 2.
But if you can get a Ja Morant and give up kind of 2 of your serviceable role players and a protected pick, I also don't hate
dare
that.
You refer to Bobby P as just that? How dare you?
He's a very serviceable,
I say no to this player. For Bobby. You know what? I'm protecting Portis on this one. No,
I don't want Bobby. I don't want Bobby to go anywhere near that either. But
yeah, first of all, we'll never get to talk to him again.
And I will say, Ja Morant, Lou made a good point. Like, look what Trae Young brought in. Ja Morant's not going to bring in much more, probably less than what Trae Young brought in, if I'm being honest with you. So it kind of makes sense. I don't like the fit basketball wise, Ja Morant in Milwaukee.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Jonathan Kuminga. Feels like Sacramento is inevitably going to be a part of this. So
anywhere. Anywhere.
Yes. Wait, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis, you're good? You said yes?
The Kings. I don't know if the Kings would love that. I think the Kings are the definition of a Jonathan Kuminga team. They get their young guy, they can groom him, they have money to pay him. Like, they have these contracts with Sabonis and Debo and Levine that they can also get off after this. And teams fancy Keon Ellis a lot right now, and Malik Monk has always been that guy that can come and either start or go get you 20 points off the bench. I think there need to be some sort of pick in there because I still think Kuminga has this hidden value that everyone knows that's just been tried to be buried. So I think maybe he'd demand a little bit more than that. But I'm saying yes if I'm the Kings for sure, because I think Jonathan Kuminga is their guy.
Yeah, and I'm saying no if I'm Golden State. If I bring in a Malik Monk, it's kind of Pods is in that pocket. Buddy Hield is kind of in that pocket. I got some bench scoring. I got some guys that I can go to on my bench that can give me scoring or can flex into starters if need be. If guys are out of the lineup, I think that's what Malik Monk is. Keon Ellis, I gotta do more due diligence on him out in Sacramento. But if I'm Golden State, it's more of the same for me. I'm saying no on this one.
Okay.
I tell you what, people love Keon Ellis.
Yeah, I gotta do my due diligence.
All right, we're going to do this next one real fast. AD, Anthony Davis to Atlanta. Here's what it looks like. The Mavs get back Porzingis, Risache, Krejci, and a first-round pick. Damn. Okay. Who says no, Lou?
ATL. I think ATL says no. They're high on Risache. I know they're high on the young fella, and you're talking about another first-round pick and a team that's looking to add young talent. Obviously, Anthony Davis, the elephant in the room is going to be his health. How available is he going to be? As it stands, he's not available right now. And so knowing that fan base and being able and getting off a Risache and getting off a first-round pick, I think that's something that they would frown upon. So if I'm Atlanta, I'm saying no.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. It seems like a lot. This guy was just the number one pick in the draft, and he showed a lot of promise. And we've seen this show before with Anthony Davis. As good as he is, he can't stay healthy. Now, on the flip side, if I'm Atlanta and I'm kind of the middle of the pack, and I just got rid of Trae Young, and I got my future guy, regardless of if we bring in Anthony Davis or not, and Jalen Johnson, I think I'm okay with swinging for the fence here and going and making this splash. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, then at least we shot our shot and went to go get an all-world type player. So it's a lot to give up, but I think I would do it just to get that chance that I get 3-4 great years of Anthony Davis, factoring in some injury time.
You are a risk taker, Chandler. You are a risk taker.
I certainly am.
We're going to take a quick break. More Run It Back coming up.
Run it up, then run it back.
Who's your favorite best teammate when you used to play for Golden State?
Golden State? I had a lot of really good teammates. I would probably say Kawhi Leonard, who's on our team now. We grew up together, so we kind of had a relationship. But Steph's up there, Clay's up there, Andrew Wiggins up there. All those guys are still super cool. You used to watch when we were in Golden State?
But how did you feel when Draymond punched?
Oh my God, bro.
Let
By
that
the way,
kid cook. He's got more questions.
Did he say Dre as one of his teammates, or I misheard that?
No, he said Looney.
No, he did not. No.
No, he said Looney, Wiggins,
Yeah,
Steph.
Steph.
I said Dre. I was like,
Of course
that's
not.
crazy.
I punched him in the face. He's not a good teammate. First of all, kids should always be asking the questions everywhere and forever. How great is that?
Also, why did they cut the video though? What happened?
I don't know. I think the mom, maybe it was his mom that was recording, but he did say it was tough, bro. I mean, there was an answer there. It was quick.
That punch will follow him the rest of his career, unfortunately.
I want that kid at media day.
Kids
I
say
want
the
that
darndest
kid.
things.
Like, I want him everywhere. I want him asking questions of political figures. Like, I want that kid to just work everywhere.
Knowing this
forever.
day and age, he'll probably be at All-Star Weekend doing interviews.
He said it was tough, man.
It was tough, bro. It was tough, bro. Yes, it was. It was tough to watch.
Jesus.
Guys,
that's
that's it for
incredible.
us. Chandler, good luck in the frozen tundra of Orlando, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Then run it back, yeah.